and smiles. It's a magical bond two pals can share. Soon the whole world will be made aware of you and the Death Lord Cthulhu, making the world a better place. Together you will have so much fun,
Sending all my stupid friends to oblivion.
you and the Dark One
Talking
Cthulhu.
bitches.
Weep and struggle and suffer and die.
Not working even when it's not to the. There we go. Okay, okay. Hello.
The microphone's not plugged in.
I don't know where it's getting audio from then, but hello.
Mom.
Hold just a second, folks. Hold. Ba. Hello. Great. That works. I don't know where the fuck it was pulling audio before, but it's fine. Yeah, I look different. Hello.
Yes. Be fancy today.
I, I sat on top of him, like actively on his back while he was sewing the outfit. Like no distractions, only sewing.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Ugh, like how do you make do this? Why?
Oh, why?
Oh, why?"
Bucket likes the hair.
Myself. No, it's a wig.
The wig.
If anyone notices I'm blinking a lot, I'm only blinking a lot because I definitely won't have something in my eye later, and I'm just preparing for that. You know, I don't want you guys to know when I definitely have something in my eye and I'm not crying.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. So, anyway, hi. Malb. Yeah, Malb was what we were saying before, we fixed the microphone. All we saw was Malb, Malb, Malb.
Mal.
So we thought it was fun. Yeah. Anyway, today we are playing more of the house in Fata Morgana, as you can tell by our wonderful outfits. Swish, swish, swish. He's having too much fun with his hair.
I hated it when my hair was naturally long, but it's like I got a wig on. Swish,
Swish, swish, swish, swish, swish.
swish.
Um,
I would mute myself, but if I muted myself, then no one will be able to hear you.
They won't be able to hear me either. So today, but we are starting door 4, possibly.
What?
Yes, door 4.
Maybe. Who wants to know? What are you, a cop? Are you the patriarchy?
Don't even joke about that. Oh my god. I feel bullied. I feel betrayed. Wow. But yes, originally the maid was like, there are 3 dolls. And then we got to the end of the third door and she was like, I lied.
Bullshit.
Full of shit.
Full of shit. Your house feels to be full of shit.
Quite pressured actually. I think I might need to go to the toilet.
You just came back from there.
No, I didn't. I don't use the bathrooms.
I was sitting here like, I'm totally gonna start the stream early. And then I was like, oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
And no, of course you don't use the bathroom. You were just in the bathroom, staring at the mirror, wondering about life and everything.
I was in the bathroom wondering about life, actually.
Yeah, I noticed because when I was like, hello, you come, you're like, what? Oh.
Whoa. And I don't use a litter box, Steve.
You're thinking of cat boys. He's a dog boy. He shits in the yard.
Mm-hmm. And we don't have one, so I just don't shit.
Stone.
Blink, 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 blink.
It's fine.
He's fine.
It's the false eyelashes, okay?
Mhm.
Which I did not need for the costume, but I wanted.
You're required. Badly.
Anyway, content warnings. Did we talk about that? Because I
No.
feel like there were some very specific ones that we should probably cover, Spirit.
Okay. This game includes graphic depictions of violence, torture, murder, domestic and child abuse, suicide, sexual assault, rape, psychological manipulation, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, and has themes centered on religion, racism, bigotry, and other troubling topics. Door 4, that we have been
This door.
bamboozled with, includes pedophilia, murder by impalement, suicide, and psychological manipulation.
Like I said, this door's got some.
This door.
This door's got some stuff.
This
Honestly,
door.
I'm about to go to the Home Depot and get a refund.
Oh no.
Actually, it's just a manufacturing defect. I'll show you later. You sold the cloak, but the shirt was a find. You have control.
I have to go on, yes.
Yes, you have the controller. Yeah.
I can't hear the piano.
I have manually connected your earphones like 3 times. I don't know what it is about you and your technologicalies.
I don't know. Monologies. Technologies. Technologies. I don't know. It's fine, I'll just put my earbuds away.
No, I'm forcing them to connect again. But no.
What?
That didn't work. That's the message I got. We're having a time. Don't ask me why the mic didn't work when we came in. Don't ask me why his earbuds literally never work. I don't know. We've tried different sets of earbuds for him too. It's just whichever earbuds he tries to use do not work ever.
They never work. That's funny.
Actually, hold on. Maybe it's. Maybe. You have the wrong ones in.
No, because the other ones are in here.
Because.
The other ones were not.
Okay, now it's connected. Now it's connected. They're connected.
They are connected. Oh no, I'm
There's
sorry,
no
Bucket.
audio for literally anyone because in special he has sucked all the audio. It goes straight into the mouth hole.
Into the mouth hole. If it's going to be difficult, I'll just no bother.
At some point, we're gonna have to actually get him headphones that are made for this kind of stuff because I feel like that's probably what our issue is. I got these earbuds like super duper cheaps.
They went.
That's the
That's usually the connecting noise, but there is no sound. So if you can still hear things, then I can.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, we'll click back into the.
It's because it's not showing up in my audio inputs. It's just not showing up.
Oh well.
You can just
No.
Okay, guys. Sorry, we are here. We're doing things. Let's go. Game. Boom.
Boom. Back memories.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's square. You click.
You'll be used.
It was not showing me any options. Yes.
Are you sure? Sure.
Yes. Now would you read?
Okay. Send it. Alright. On today's version of Whose Line Is It Anyway? We are going to assume that it is.
Burn the witch.
You know what? It can be her. Fine. It's almost definitely not gonna be her. But it can be her.
Okay.
For shits and giggles.
Set on a pot. Set it on. And also pour water into it. Gather the pieces thereof into it. Even every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder. What are we? Fill it with the choice bones. Is this cannibalism? Take the choice of the flock and burn also the bones under it. And make it boil well, and let them seethe the bones of it therein. Thus saith the Lord.
Oh no, I'm burning, I'm melting. Ah, I'm melting. To the bloody city. I did not mean to click through the one line, but it was woe into the bloody city.
To the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. Burn the witch.
Where is she? Where'd she go? This way, I'm sure of it. Find her. Find her. Witch.
Burn the witch.
The kid.
Burn the witch.
Burn her. Burn
Burn the witch.
to be the child.
The child just barging their way into places that don't belong. Then I will leave thee upon the land, I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heaven to remain upon thee. Burn the beasts of the whole earth with thee.
Just frankly, I've read more Bible verses in my day, so I'm okay forcing you to do it.
And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest even to the mountains. And the rivers shall be full of thee. I can't take this seriously.
No.
And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land. Burn the witch. Sorry.
No, it's fine. We've determined that the italic Bible verses can be the small child because, frankly, it's less upsetting to me that way.
It's less traumatizing.
Yeah.
So I seem to have lost them. Now where am I?
Because there's plenty of time for me to get traumatized later.
Where should I go from here? What am I to do?
It spreads as far as the eye can see. Not a ray of light. Oh, this is you. I was assuming it was the fucking narrator.
I assumed it was the narrator as well.
You know, since the maid wasn't narrating, I'm just like, well, no character has narrated for themselves so far.
Not a ray of light shines down upon me. All that strokes my cheek are tendrils of darkness. Every passing day, every fading hour, my world is engulfed in ebony. There exists no kindness in this shadow, only solitude.
So, did it say tendrils? Because I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
It did say tendrils.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost track of how long I've been on the run, wandering aimlessly, lost, until I arrive at this dark forest. I no longer have anywhere to go. Jeeves.
Yeah, there's lots of random biblical enjoy.
O Father who art in heaven, I kneel to thee within my heart and ask of thee thy blessing. O Father who art in heaven, I ask of thee to shine thy light upon me and show me the way. Please have mercy upon my soul. O Father who art in heaven, I do love thee dearly, hallowed be thy name. Please show me the way. I may be shunned and persecuted, and I may have no place to go, but nevertheless I am unable to give up on life, to cast aside my hope. Nagito's gone for a nap, he's like, I've had enough of this shite.
Yeah, even Nagito's like, no.
He eat. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me unto salvation. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me. I can no longer remember when my life became naught but running, but when it became endless wandering in the dark. Oh, there's no button there, sorry. I'm making up words. And now, when I've reached the point where I've long since forgotten my hunger and thirst, my voice has become hoarse, my vision gone blurry, and my consciousness begun sinking into a hazy morass. That mansion appears before me, wrapped in a morning fog that seems to foretell rain. Oh my. What?
Just with the music. Oh.
Oh. The mansion comes into view like the world fading in after a dream. It doesn't appear as though anyone lives here. All the windows are either boarded up or shuttered, as if it's long since been abandoned. A tower which seems out of place in a personal residence stands tall beside the mansion. The whole building seems as though it could disappear with the fog. It has an unwelcoming presence, freezing me in my tracks. However, if this is where you have led me, then I shall follow your guidance. Having nowhere else to go, this mansion is my only salvation, the light that guides my way, and so I must have faith that no matter what I find, whether spirits or wild beasts dwell within these walls, that this is where I will find peace.
Camera crashed.
Uh-oh.
2 seconds. I fix.
He fix.
Why do this to me?
Do you?
Hold up. I will sit down. I'll sit down. I'll behave. Ave. Ave.
You just kind of looked like you were having a moment.
Yeah, I was. Okay. I'm good.
Is anyone there? Guess it is abandoned. That makes sense. It would be more unusual for someone to be living in a house so deep in the woods, so far from civilization, like it's been forgotten to time. I can't imagine anyone spending their days here. I place my hand on the front door. Pinch very loudly in its presence.
It's just like, how is your food? It's like, it's shit if you don't shut up.
What the heck? I very much doubt I'll find anywhere else to stay wandering around through the woods. If the door doesn't open, then I'll die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I'm not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open.
Open sesame.
Open sesame. The door is heavy, and though it seems to protest my attempts to enter, it still opens much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I get the strangest impression light is being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it feels as though I'm about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I close the door, it's so dark I can't even tell where I'm walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I manage to fumble my way over to a window, it's tightly shuttered, and the shutters are caked with rust. I'm probably not getting it open without a fight. If only I had some source of light. I can't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It feels like the floor will fall out from under me and I'll sink into eternal darkness if I don't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walk forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There's a door at the end of a long corridor. I pull it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushes past me. It's too dark to see anything, but I can feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house.
Not Finch. It's a mental health app. It's great. You should totally use it.
Yeah. Uneasiness grips me. Is anybody here? My voice simply disappears into the void. No response. As I'm pushing forward through the freezing air, for a split second I spot a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I'm able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it's not shuttered, but covered by drapes. My chances are slim, I imagine, but if there's even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it's worth a shot. So I pull open the drapes. The next moment, faint but colourful light shines down on me. It's a stained glass window. From beyond the glass I can hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. I guess it finally started. The different colours of light blend into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's gorgeous. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be...
Please, do not touch the drapes. Or the windows.
Suddenly I hear a voice, and I can sense someone else in the room. The man's voice is emotionless, neither deep nor high.
Oh, fuck it, I'm making them deep.
Before long he comes into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight.
No, it's fine, because he's neither deep nor high, even if I make him deep for me, because my deep is not very deep. It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, someone has to change. One of us.
What do you mean?
Me and him, one of us has to change.
Oh.
It's not gonna be me.
I sat for ages making that outfit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not taking it off. Michael, use scripter clothes off, not me. I'm sure that there's like a blanket on one of the pews inside the chapel room. Just put that on instead.
It's fine.
Just poke a hole in it and put it over like a poncho.
Sorry for coming in uninvited, but I did announce myself. The man stands there, practically blending in with the darkness. Has he been there the whole time? He's staring straight at me. His gaze wavers slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. The candle in his hand and the light from the stained glass window are the only illumination in the room, neither of which are particularly bright. As a result, his outline is faint and blurred.
See, if he's got faint and blurred outline, mine is crispy. That means he has to change.
Crispy.
Crispy.
It gives off the impression that he might vanish entirely between blinks. My apologies. I assumed the house was abandoned.
I suspect you would have preferred it to be abandoned.
Not at all. Is this, do you live in this mansion?
Yes, I have for a very long time. I thought I had barred the front door, but it would seem I've left it open. What brings you here? If you're lost, I'm happy to give you directions. There's a village west of here. Take you maybe half a day. You are in need of money. Help yourself to some of the furniture. I feel like we've heard that before. Bring it for food at the village, and then make your way to a larger town.
Please allow me to stay here. I cannot go to the village. No, I can't go anywhere. I'm no longer able to freely return to any town. I'm being hunted.
You seem rather young to be a sinner. So you have transgressed.
I am neither a thief nor an adulterer. If I bear any sin, then it has been with me since birth. I will do everything I can to stay out of your way. I simply ask that you grant me shelter until it all blows over. If you wish to know of my transgression, I will tell you. So please, do not throw me out.
I see. And do you ask this of me? aware of how people refer to the mansion.
Pardon?
It is said that a witch once lived in this house. Not just any witch. This house has been tainted by her seething hatred, and all who dwell within it meet their demise.
But you live here, don't you?
Like her, I too am cursed.
What kind of curse?
The one thing I can tell you is that your life is in danger if you get involved with me. Would you approach my curse, I am likely to take your life.
You tell me?
Yes, you do not live with me in this mansion is to sentence yourself to death.
No matter what path I choose, I very much doubt I have a future. And if that's the case, then I shall live how I want. I don't care what people say about you, or this mansion. I wish to stay here. You might think I'm rather strange, but my heart tells me that I must stay here. That I was guided here. And hearing what you have to say only reinforces that.
What are you scheming?
I'm not scheming anything. I'm simply tired of running. So if your curse is going to kill me, then perhaps that's for the best. At the very least, you won't be hunting me. You won't try to flay me or tear off my arms or rip the flesh from my bones. And that's enough for me.
If you have committed no sin, then why do they hunt you so fervently?
I am accused of being a witch. Master, please wake up. Return to me. Ah, have you come to, Master? I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. It must have given you quite the scare. But I beg your forgiveness. I heard a terrible screaming from down the stairs and I panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl? I see. So you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I am deeply relieved that I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you've already grown familiar with the atmosphere of this time period, Master. If you've seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. It was, again, her appearance that brought this upon her. Okay.
I was just sat here melting into it like, yes.
That snow white hair and those ruby red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else.
Did they really? Because I feel like we saw somebody else who's got a very similar physical description. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you're talking shite.
Maybe I'm talking shite. I mean, I of course know all the answers, but maybe I'm talking shite.
Oh, and I apologise. I neglected to mention that this store is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed. The one difference is in the time period. The tales I have shown you began with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition, proceeding in chronological order. However, the door we have just entered takes us to the period now known as the Middle Ages, long, long before the other three tales. Yes, that is correct. This is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known.
I'm just gonna say, be skeptical of anything the maid says because she's already lied to us about a couple of really big things.
I don't fucking trust her. Don't fucking trust her. She's full of shite.
Evil shite.
She's full of shite. If, after this tale, you are still unable to reclaim your old self, then there is nothing more I can do. This door contains the last tale I am able to tell you.
So does that make it the last door, maid?
Does it? Does it now? I don't fucking trust her. So I asked
We
him.
absolutely don't trust her because look at that question mark in the title.
Yeah.
It was put there very intentionally.
Please do not let go of my hand until it is all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in a mansion of darkness. Is this still me?
I think so.
In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in a dark, overgrown forest. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl had assumed nobody lived there. But her guess was incorrect. Someone indeed did dwell within the house. It was a young man named Michael. Yeah. Did I say that right? Is that Michael?
There's a lot of debate over how the name is said. So some people say it's Michael, some people say it's Michelle, and some people say it's Mikael. So, however you're going to say it.
Okay.
The only reason that the saying it's Michelle has some weight to it is because there's another thing later that makes it seem like that might be the pronunciation of the name. But they also say that he shares a name with an angel. It's not an angel. So I think it's a matter of when this translated over, the pronunciation had a bunch of different ways it could have taken. And I'm assuming in Japanese it was really only said one way. So when you move it to English and you assume that he is a European, there become a bunch of different ways you can say it. So long and short is there's not a set way, but everybody seems to think there is, and everybody seems to think their way is the right way.
Okay.
So as long as you pick a way and you stick with it, you're fine.
Okay. I said it and then immediately stopped, like, hold on, sorry. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man.
Actually, while we're there, let's have one more thing. I've said, obviously, that I know this, like, backwards and forwards. I mean that very literally. I know the chronological timeline for this game backwards, forwards. I could tell you from modern day tracking back or from the first event onward, but the way that they pace it with the doors, I couldn't tell you because they get kind of fucky-wucky with the timeline. So when I'm like, I don't exactly remember what happens here, it's because I know the timeline. But because I've only played the game once and I've only seen the text once and it was the slightly newer version of the game that's a little bit different, I don't know, like, every line per se. Perchance. Perchance.
Perchance.
You know, I just want to make sure people are listening. Perchance?
Perchance.
If you are listening, please put perchance in the chat. Thank you.
Perchance in the chat, guys.
Perchance.
However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion,
Not
that he too had heard. That is not chance.
Yeah, people are listening. Good, good, good. Perchance. Everybody but
Everyone but not.
I just said perchance. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? You wanna come and fight me? You wanna square go? Wanna square go? I've already gotta fight Michael over the outfit. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
He has picked violence today.
I picked violence like the second that I was expected to join an 8:30 a.m. fucking call this morning. Like calls before noon. No.
No.
I may be up and at work, but that does not mean that I go on call, okay? That does not mean I talk on the phone. Talking on the phone that early in the morning, like what the fuck?
What the fuck? Are you from Bucket asks what you're gonna do? Dent them with a hammer?
No, I was thinking more along the lines of having I was thinking of like looking into what Bucket's current interests are and really planning this out and getting some good spoilers on things that Bucket would not like spoiled and just carefully whispering them into the water that Bucket holds so that they just kind of ripple throughout the entirety of Bucket and Bucket is forced to hear all of the spoilers for everything Bucket holds dear.
That is cruel. Oh my. Wow.
I've stunned everyone into silence.
Yeah.
I know, I'm so mean. Nah, no, it's fine. I will not fight you. I will not fight you, Bucket. We adore Bucket.
I didn't even kick you in the butt. What happens when you sit down there?
Stop kicking me to the butt.
He's taking up the entire area where my feet are supposed to
Well,
be.
then you're not allowed to have feet, cut 'em off. Cut 'em off. Let's stir something up.
Someone would pay some good money for that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Content warning that talks of chopping off feet.
Yeah. As if Bucket hasn't seen everything.
Oh, I can play the waiting game. I'll just wait until Bucket has a Go session and hasn't seen the whole thing. It's fine. I'll wait. No, what's awful is I'm the kind of person who would do that on accident. I'd be like, "Oh, you're into like blah blah blah." Well, what did you think of the part where? And the person's like, "I have 2 episodes in. I have not seen proof yet." It's always him. He's always the person.
Yeah, it's always me. Every time I get a new interest, it's like, "Oh, great! Have you seen this happen?" And I'm like, "No." Why? When does that happen? Why? It's like,
I would actually like to say I think I've done fairly good at not spoiling too much. Like with this game, I've had to sit there and there are things I have to tell you because you know you're going to be voicing different people and you have to know things. But like with this, I feel like I've done pretty good at not just spoiling the whole fucking thing.
yeah.
I'm like, I will tell you what you need to know. So he knows things that are potential triggers for him, and he knows the things that are like gonna impact how he voices different characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a character who I definitely think is really bisexual, and he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows nothing else about the guy. Just the guy's probably bi.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we gotta give him the gay voice. That's fine.
Gay.
We're gay, we can do it. It's not offensive. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay.
It's not perceiving.
The camera is struggling to pick up the flappies because the weight of the coat is just too much. There's a lot of fabric there. Lots of fabric.
We were too lazy to go to the store, so he just pulled down one of the curtains.
Yeah.
We have one window that has no curtain now, and he's so pissy about it. It's really funny because
It's
it's
my
like,
own damn fault.
I'm like, Spirit, why don't we have a curtain there? What? Because I couldn't be fucked to go to Joanne Fabrics. What? Spirit? What? What? You couldn't be fucked to what?
I don't want to go to the fabric shop. That meant leaving the house. And I've done enough of that in the last week.
Yeah, he actually turned down a trip to the library the other day. He was like, no, it's like the library's like your favorite place. He's like, actually, Panera's my favorite place, but the library is second, and still no.
However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie
All you
devised
tell us is nonsense.
to chase her out of the house. Who is talking over me?
Maid, I think you're full of shit. Fucking lying to us about the doors. Fucking lying to us about other stuff I can't talk about yet. Just shit to me. How dare you? If that even is your real name.
Me. He thinks Maid is her name.
I know her name.
Maid?
I know her name, and spoiler, she doesn't even know her name, so I know lots of things. I know the names of people who don't even know their own names.
You know all.
I know all but nothing at the same time.
The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Despite Michael's assertions, the white-haired girl decided she would take up residence within the mansion. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens, young enough to be seen as still a child. I'm struggling to read today. But she was neither as self-centered nor as irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and a sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee to this mansion with her life.
I feel like there's like a lot about the white-haired girl's life, just all of the lives that have been grossly inappropriate.
All of them. Now the white-haired girl thought it would be rude to simply take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master and Michael and asked, is there anything I can do to help? I will clean or cook or do anything, just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here.
You need not feel indebted to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn to disdain.
But I can't just stay here and do nothing.
Do whatever you like.
As long as...
you do not. That's all I ask of you.
He said emotionlessly, turning away and walking off. Michael was not, I believe, spurning her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem averse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart. I should still do whatever I can. But she did not let that get her down. In fact, she might have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life. And she was deeply grateful for that. Thus began their quiet life together. Michael, who avoided contact with others, and the white-haired girl who had taken a great deal of abuse from others. Two people who knew hardly anything about one another, who were too distant to really be said to be living together. Michael spent most of his day in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Michael better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed. Why he lived alone in this dark mansion.
But he said he didn't want you to.
And how many days, how many years he had spent here in solitude. I feel like she wants to know anyway.
He said no. That was one of his 2 rules. No finding out about his curse and no going into his bedroom. Those were like the 2 rules. Those are the 2 things.
Those are the 2 things. And while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. The first project she set out to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candles. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and considering the poor airflow in the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Still, she persisted, sweeping and wiping things down one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust that had settled there was much heavier than in any other room. With each breath, she had to fight back coughs. It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight. They're books. Incredible. Real books. The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them, but that was the first time she had ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not a material one could easily acquire without some degree of social rank. Books were not printed with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Even the process of binding it was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines. There's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek. Just a tiny little peek, she said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached her hand toward one of the books. The tome that caught her eye was on the upper shelf.
I hope you will not be touching the books. There's no rule against touching the books, but, I'm not going to sit there and be concerned about the whole trying to find out his curse thing, despite the fact there's an entire 2 rules around not finding out about the curse.
It bore gorgeous jade embossing and looked like it belonged in a treasure chest. Almost. Though she tended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe, it was still just barely within reach. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spines, and she began to pull the book toward her. The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together, so when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. And then almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her. Ow! The white-haired girl groaned, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, for the mess was enough of a setback already in her attempt to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume that was almost torn in half. She did not know whether it was in that condition before, or if it had happened in the fall, but nonetheless she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there, unable to get back to her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. Then suddenly, a shadow fell over the dejected girl. It took a book in its hand and returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly toward the white-haired girl, then changed course towards another book. It was Michael. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it. I'm so sorry. Your books,
What were you doing?
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage such precious books.
There's no.
I'm sorry.
It sounds as though I'm admonishing you.
What?
If you want to read the book,
I do, but that's not what I originally came here to clean. Yes, I felt guilty simply being idle.
I did say you could do as you please, but you have no responsibility to clean anything.
I just ended up making a bigger mess anyway. I'm sorry.
You needn't apologize.
Okay.
If you want to please help yourself to anything else.
But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty and I wanted to hold it.
You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, by all means.
These are all your books, aren't they?
Raymond,
That's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all.
one per month.
What?
My family sends me one every month.
Every month? The white-haired girl turned her gaze back toward the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived there in solitude for many years. She was at a loss for words.
They're dull tomes, dreadfully inoffensive, and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decoration is all they're good for.
I see.
If you could put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I am going to return to them. Don't feel obligated.
Just a minute.
Was there something else?
Tell me your name. Not as getting door one vibes.
I mean, all I'm going to say is hopefully not, because based on the number of books, the fact that there are, I think she made it sound like there was like at least probably 100 or something. There's a lot, and we've seen the library in the later bits. There are a lot of books in there. He seems to be considerably older than her, so I'm gonna hope not.
Hopefully not. I just realised I never asked for your name. Not knowing what to call you will make conversation awkward.
You don't need my name.
I want to, though. Michael, like the Archangel? That name suits you quite well. It does. Although it's difficult to see you in the dark, you seem to be a very handsome man, befitting of your name.
Thank you. I don't know, Nut. You'll have to find out. Trying to find out important
Trying to bamboozle you into telling them.
his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel was probably rather annoyed by it.
Oh no. I think it's a wonderful name. Oh, bless you.
And you're... No.
Oh, my name? My name is Giselle. Please call me Giselle. Oh, thank goodness that I was able to get your name and talk to you for a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad that I got to hear your voice. I'm very glad.
You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so, and there is no need for you to feel joy about it.
I'm not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house.
You do not understand. As I said on that first day, my curse will one day kill you.
I'm still alive, aren't I?
You're welcome to believe that I'm lying, or that I'm merely out of my mind. It will be too late when you realize the truth.
Be fine, I'm sure. Even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Could you possibly be keeping away from me out of concern?
No, I simply have no interest in interacting with you.
I would like to interact with you. If you don't mind, that is.
No means no.
No means no.
As I told you, you have nothing to gain from me. I have nothing, not even words to give you. My body is but a shell, even if I were not cursed. My presence would do naught but cause you discomfort.
I don't think that's true. I don't believe that there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing. There's plenty inside you. You simply haven't noticed it yet. And not all of it will only cause others pain either.
If you truly believe those words, then you're a foolhardy girl. How can you trust someone you've only just met? For that matter, how do you not resent everyone?
Resentment?
I can take a guess as to why people call you a witch and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Your white hair and red eyes. That abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance drew their condemnation. And I can think of any number of reasons they may have started treating you as less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune, or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague, some kind of external phenomenon. And you were their scapegoat.
Yes, you are by and large correct.
And that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. I make no claim of having your interest in mind. Goodbye.
If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime?
Did you just listen to anything I said?
I listened, yes. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me, and I don't wish to burden you in any way. I simply wish to be allowed to be at your side. It doesn't matter to me what kind of person you may be. That is all I want. Apologise for keeping you. Please consider it, if it's not too much trouble. As the master of the house, Michael, made his way out of the library, he appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart, or perhaps it was something else. She stared towards the darkness into which Michael had disappeared. Then she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tome, a soft smile spreading across her lips. He's a decent man, I'm sure of it. We're alike, he and I. And thus began to blossom within her a faint sense of fellowship, as someone who also knew solitude. God. Da, da, da. It had been about a week since the white-haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Staying in that house deprived of light was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. To anyone blessed enough to have sunlight as part of their everyday lives, it would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the one place she could find respite. She and Michael continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of, leaving her unable to close that gap. Nonetheless, on the occasions they did cross paths in the hallway, their eyes would meet, if but briefly. It was never for more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made a point of giving him a little smile. He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not have even met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face. Well, this is troubling. I can't go down to the village, but if we don't do something soon... The cellar where their food was stored, an assortment of non-perishables and dry foods, smoked meats and cheeses. Was where, I see where I fucked up. Her daily meals were taken from the supplies there. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. But master, you know a young delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food. How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder? From there, other questions about Michael started rising in her mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed, surely he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, and then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber. But you were told not to. He eat people. But on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance, staring motionless at the door lit by a single candle. He appeared to be waiting for something. May I ask you a question?
Go on.
I was just down in the cellar, and I noticed we were running low on food. Do you normally go down to the village to restock?
I haven't been outside in 10 years.
Then how do you...
What if I told you I don't eat?
What?
That I am not of this world, and as such I have no need for sustenance. What would you think of that?
That sounds very, economical. If you can survive without having to eat, then that's one less thing to worry about. If it were possible, I'd like to have that ability too.
It would seem that trying to frighten you is a waste of my time.
Oh. Was I supposed to be afraid?
Never mind. It doesn't matter. You asked about the food in the cellar. It's getting to be about that time. Wait till you find out.
What do you...
It's here.
Oh?
If you want to know where my supplies come from, open the door.
But, I'm in hiding.
There's no one at the door. The knock is nothing more than a signal.
A signal? The white-haired girl turned towards Michael to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze. Find the answer yourself, he seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door. The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, was so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. Although the sun itself had not gotten any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark that her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. The colour of her eyes seemed to make them quite sensitive to light already, so when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionless for 10, perhaps 15 seconds, and when her eyes had finally adjusted to the light, "What's this?" She noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. She turned her head back to ask Michael about the box, but the mansion was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Michael from the shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. The white-haired girl had come to yearn for that world without light more than the one with. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty bringing it into the house, but eventually she did manage to drag it through the front door.
I do think it's funny. He's like, you have no responsibilities being here. Also, bring in the fucking 100-pound crate outside.
Yeah. And then everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air. Without a word, Michael approached her and the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere on his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box.
Go on, open it up.
At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside this unexpected delivery. Whoever had brought it was already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was racked with nervousness. However, what she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food. It was just rather anticlimactic. Here I was, worried about what might be inside.
We were just talking about supplies and stuff.
So we were. It completely slipped my mind. It should last us for some time. It's all preserved, just like what's in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all this to you?
There should be a book in this one.
What? Oh, there it is. In the library, he said that his family sends him one book a month. Does that mean this box came from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chose to be here?
Take the book to the library, please. I will bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar.
It's a big box. I'm sure you could use some help carrying it.
That won't be necessary. Take the book and go.
But
Fine, then stay here. I'll take care of everything.
oh, wait, hold on, please.
What is it?
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. And I'm not trying to pry, but I can't help but be curious.
Say what you have to say, please.
I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you perhaps be imprisoned here?
I told you this the very first day. I'm cursed.
Not as sad, he's no vampire.
Honestly, me too. Look at him, he looks like a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed house.
Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in the situation you are.
He told you not to ask, Giselle.
Giselle!
Giselle. He told you not to ask.
Oh, how do you feel about it?
Could you imagine barging straight into somebody's house, demanding to live there? They're like, fine, you can live here rent free, no chores, do what you want, fix your own food, whatever. You can stay. And they're like, I have 2 rules. 1, don't ask me questions about myself. 2, do not go into my room. And you've been there less than a month, and you've already done both. Multiple times.
Shameful.
Could you imagine having the balls to do that? If there
Rules, Giselle.
But he didn't even say you couldn't burn the house down. Like there were 2 rules. There were literally no other rules.
Thought. Painful. So much I don't know. I'm not even sure if your curse actually exists.
See, that is a perfectly reasonable doubt from your point of view. Having been branded a witch because of your appearance, it would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated, or perhaps a metaphor for something else. All right.
As he turned on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. That smile carved into his mask was far colder than the look of annoyance or rejection. Sauce. But despite the twinge of nervousness, she still followed after Michael. As much as he might have stood out in a crowd with such height and long hair, his presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. She felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment.
Many things are buried here.
Huh?
Mice, insects, wild cats, dogs. Have you ever thought it's strange how little life there seems to be around this mansion?
You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Now that you mention it, it did seem peculiar.
They were all killed by me. Or, rather, they lost their lives because of me. You have your answer now.
A butterfly fluttered its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Michael held out a finger before himself, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drifted down upon it to rest its wings. Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment.
All that comes in contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh, my blood. It's poison to all life.
But the butterfly's movements began to slow. It spread its wings in one last futile attempt to fight gravity, and then without warning, it shriveled up into a dry husk. It's dead. All dried up and lifeless. Like it's been dead for days. It's like his finger drained all the life out of it. Is this his curse? Is that even possible? But I just saw it with my own eyes.
Vampire.
Sorry, vampire.
I'm sorry. My apologies, vampire.
Vampire. If this is his curse, though, it explains so much. There are more than just insect and animal corpses buried here, too.
It visit me long ago. Are here.
Near beneath the ground, there are very feet.
Shit, fuck, shit.
Fuck shit.
say shit once, and my fucking Echolly is like, you wanna say shit like constantly. This morning too, I had a phone call. Said goodbye right before leaving, or good day, or something like that. And for the next like 20 minutes, I was like, goodbye,
Goodbye.
goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye.
I actually had to walk into the room that Spirit and I sleep in to get something. I was just like, goodbye. And he went,
Goodbye.
obviously, you know, I look at it now and I'm like, okay, this is fair. Like, the start will make sense. But he was like, oh,
So confused.
what? You know what I had to do? Just go, goodbye. Goodbye. Like, I mean, you've also got that little layer. It's like, it's the worst when you accidentally kick it off yourself and you are the source.
Yeah.
It's just like you can't even walk away from the thing that you're echoing.
Yeah.
Because it's you.
Yeah. Bye.
In fact, is that going to become one of your texts?
Could you imagine? Gonna become one of them. I'm outside, you know, in the big sippy, just like what? What?
What?
What?
That's why the servant leaves before I open the door. Because otherwise, some guy comes in and he starts going, "Burn the witch," but like in a really high pitched voice.
What?
Shouldn't touch me. Shouldn't get near me. His very life is in danger. No one is interested enough in seeing me to take that risk. No one will have anything to do with me. Naria's soul even wishes to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you.
That's why you've never once touched me. When I knocked the books down in the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up. And only one of us ever made contact with the box at the entrance at a time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused. Because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine.
My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Others' interests mean nothing to me. I don't know, Nut. We'll have to find out. But hopefully not with her, and hopefully not right now.
Not right now. There is a time and a place, and it's not here and not now.
What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real?
Oh, I do. It is certainly irrational, inexplicable, unbelievable. But you've shown me more than enough evidence. And I don't believe you're lying to me right now either.
In which case, you now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left, you'd be killed. But it's been some time since then. It's been a month, dude. It's been a month. You honestly think people would have lost interest that quickly? Like honestly. No. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you can make your escape. You do not belong here.
He was telling the truth about being cursed. What a cruel burden to have to bear. I can't imagine just how much he's given up on. How many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain that loneliness must have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. How much sorrow must be weighing down on him. So no, I will not leave. I will stay here with you.
Leave this place.
No, I will not.
Why? Why do you insist upon remaining in this house after learning what I can do? You have no reason to stay.
Tell me then, why do you try to drive me out? If you don't care for others, as you say, if you're not concerned about anyone else, then what does it matter what I do? What does it matter if I die to your curse? You're a very kind-hearted man. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived, doing whatever you can to not inadvertently kill me, to not afflict me with your curse.
And you are making it hard for him.
You are making it the difficult.
He is trying so hard to not accidentally kill you, and you're just like,
Mm.
It's a microwave.
There's a microwave. Mm.
Yeah, that's why I had to itch my nose and cover my face with my sleeves. Look.
That's what I think. No one capable of showing genuine care for others can honestly truly dislike all people. They can't possibly be indifferent.
No,
That day we met before the stained glass window, you helped me out, you listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. That day I thought you to be a good person, and I still believe that.
I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. I never thought you would be so foolish as to want to stay in a house like this with a man like me.
How does that make me foolish?
Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant?
The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I could safely sneak away, get myself somewhere far from here. But even if I did, I would inevitably find myself in the same situation. The only way I can avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone, to live in solitude with no one to talk to. I know you understand how that feels. It terrifies me. I'm afraid of having to spend day after day with no one to talk to, no one to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings with. If that's what awaits me out there, then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life.
Impossible.
Please don't chase me out.
You are a cruel girl. Never again will I allow myself to get close to someone, only to watch them die. Never again. My mother was the first to die. It happened shortly after my birth. Next was my wet nurse. 2 deaths could be considered a coincidence. But as the number rose, it became clear I was cursed. And I was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being in the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Defendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake. Couldn't take it any longer.
You chose to move here, to this remote mansion, to keep yourself away from your family. You weren't imprisoned here. You elected to live alone so you wouldn't hurt anyone.
For better or worse, I was born into a noble house. So when they abandoned me, they provided me with the means to live out of sight.
I will be very careful. I will do everything I can to ensure no accidents occur, to keep you from being alone again. I will not, for any reason, touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes the life of anything you touch. I've been here for a while and death has not befallen me yet. As long as I do not touch you, there shouldn't be a problem. Also, and I apologise if this is simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. I fear being utterly alone more than anything, and I think you understand just how scary that is. So,
Why are you so stubbornly insistent on being me? I'm sure there's someone else out there. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet, but I believe that someone like you eventually will. Because unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward.
it has to be you. I'm certain of it.
Why?
Because, well,
You can't tell me?
no, I can, just, Please don't get upset with me. I think. Wow. I might really, really love you. Behave thyself.
I'm having to try so hard to hold my tongue because I know things you don't know. And I have commentary to make on this entire situation. But I cannot say a goddamn thing. Guys, we're gonna take a quick break. So everybody go for the PPs, go for the hee-hees, get some sippies,
PP's the poo-poo,
get some
like sippies.
skippies and some dippies, whatever you gotta do. As long as it ends with the ease, you're good.
Yes.
If it doesn't end with ease, you're not allowed to do it.
No.
Anyway, have fun with Gizmo. We will be right back. We have Retorn.
Return.
And I have fixed Spirits earbuds.
Yes. Hehe. I'm assuming this is still the maid.
Yep.
His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the clean and the impure. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip man and beast alike of its life. God is quite a cruel streak to bestow such a power upon such a beautiful young man. And a strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale, like something confined to words upon the page. It seemed otherworldly,
I can't compliment him.
unbelievable.
Stole my fucking clothes. Can't compliment him.
No, he stole your clothes.
Stole my fucking clothes.
Shocking.
Cool.
Nonetheless, as he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl, his peculiar powers were indeed real. That said, the world has its fair share of oddities. It just so happens that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Although you've laid eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master. The doors to the past through which we have passed. This very mansion. And as a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl had found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Michael acted in response to our proclamation? He had spent so long refusing to interact with others. No, unable to interact with them. As such, he was unsure how to respond. After standing there expressionless for a few moments, he muttered. And with that, he returned to his chambers. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally do not believe he was completely devoid of emotions. He had simply forgotten how to express them in his extended solitude. So I think he was, in that moment, in a state of complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with a stream of incomprehensible declarations, that knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion. Wait, where is the maid?
I don't know. What do you mean, where is the maid? I think I know what you mean, but I want to know if you mean what I think you mean.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, she hasn't shown up. That's a little bit weird. A little sus.
Sus.
No, I don't know where she is. I know exactly where she is, but I don't know where she is.
And that knowing the truth, she loved him. The love she had declared for Michael was not a fleeting puppy love. There was genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. But he had gone through his life shunned, feared, pushed away. To him, that was normal. He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him. So he found himself utterly unsure how to take the affection she was showing. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair. Dear. Several days had passed since Michael had asked for time to think. He had still yet to show himself again. This is all my fault. The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls, on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept her distance from his chambers. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact he had secluded himself away for so long. So she worked up her courage and made her way to his room. What if he doesn't want to see me ever again? I didn't consider that I might be overstepping my bounds before opening my mouth. Every step she took was slow and laborious. Her mind raced with worry and doubt. I should at least tell him I'm sorry. Rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, she was compelled by guilt and a desire to apologize. After walking for some time, she arrived at a door sitting in an utterly unlit hallway. She drew in a breath of musty air, then let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back, also doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was. I wanted nothing more than to give her a little nudge.
But where are you, me?
But where are you nudging her from? After all, she was too sweet a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced. I just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. But what's the point of waiting? I need to apologise and get the weight off his back now. She gathered her courage once more, this time determined that she would do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist toward the door, which then swung open. I'm sorry.
Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Are you in that much hurry for a mishap?
Sorry.
I believe I told you to stay away from my chambers.
You did, so I spent a long time debating whether I would. But I decided I really wanted to tell you this.
Oh, no.
I'm truly sorry. The other day, I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth. There was no room in my mind for anything else. I shoved my own thoughts and feelings into your face, not considering that might not be what you wanted. Just running, non-stop, not thinking at all. I was terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man, I truly believe that. But you were only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affections of a queer little girl. So... I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologise. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house.
Well, don't let all the words out of your mouth.
Slow down, man. You're going a bit too fast for us.
I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day you were firm in your intentions to stay, and now you'll say you'll leave without a struggle.
You holed up in your room for so long that I thought, you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here. I do.
I think you should do whatever pleases you.
Huh?
Stay or you can leave. I'm not trying for you to do one or the other.
I'm not imposing.
Tell you the truth. I've not come to a solution. Here you
I wasn't allowed to.
go. God knows how positive. They won't still be running to each other.
Sorry.
You're forgiven. Come in.
Think Is this a necklace?
If that's what it looks like to you, then I suppose that means I succeeded. Pick it up.
It has a little bell. It's adorable.
Please not wear that while you're in the house. It looks so dark, there will always exist a risk that we might accidentally bump into one another. So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk.
Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this?
That's right. What other reason would I have?
I think most people would assume it was because they had put you in a bad mood or you didn't want to see them.
What sense how most people see the world?
Sorry. I appreciate it though. I'm really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me.
It would be difficult not to, after the other day.
I'm so happy right now. I can't think of any better word to describe it. I couldn't be happier.
You're being dramatic. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it. It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. You're not livestock, you're a person.
That's why you turned it into a necklace? Thank you very much. I'll keep it on me at all times. I really, truly appreciate it, Lord Michael.
Don't call me Lord, please.
Alright then, I'll just call you Michael. And will you please call me Giselle?
Windows.
What?
If we could open the windows. Never mind. I was thinking you wouldn't need a bell if we could get some light in here.
Huh? They can't be opened?
That would be so tough. Windows have been stronger for as long as I've been here.
I assumed you bolted them all up.
That was done long before I arrived. So many years here, though, I hardly consider it an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers.
Oh, really?
Is there something odd about that?
No, it's just I realised I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learn more, I see things in a different light. See you in a different light. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn.
Of all the people I've ever met, you are perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you have no aversion to the darkness, you...
The dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun. Its light can simply be a bit too strong for me. I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight.
You are anything but unfair. My name would suit you much better than me.
What is with the weird? What is that noise? Oh,
That day when I first saw Giselle, I was wary of her, apprehensive. I didn't want her anywhere near me. But as my doubts about her faded, I began to feel something very different. As though a lump in my heart had been melted away. I began to yearn. To be at my side. Knowing full well it couldn't possibly last. Knowing full well how foolish it was, I found myself captivated by her. I found myself wishing to have her stay with me.
microwave mode activate. That's it back to me. And that marked the true beginning of their quiet days together in the dark mansion. They acknowledged and accepted each other's presence, no longer isolating themselves but actively, regularly conversing. As mundane as it might seem, it was something they had been unable to attain until then. Nevertheless, they were still somewhat fumbling around in the dark with one another, drawing closer and pushing away again. Michael, in his own ungraceful way, was beginning to open himself up to the things she said, and the white-haired girl was beginning to smile with greater frequency. They had taken to dining together, and her wish of learning to read was being granted. He taught her in the feeble light of a candle placed upon the table, the two sitting across from one another. Though Michael seemed to be well educated, he had not been instructed in the art of teaching, so he found the process quite grueling. But to the white-haired girl, the longer it took, the better. Her primary objective was, after all, to spend time with him. The days passed, and eventually she reached the point where our comprehension was adequate enough without assistance. Her next request, then, was for them to read through a book together. Have you read every book in the library?
Oh, I stopped looking at them after a while. Most everything I'm sent is dull, uninformative dreck. The Diary of a Lord, foolish make-believe tales.
You're not fond of fiction, I take it.
What value is there in the lies and fantasies of another?
Stories can be invigorating. Tales of adventure can take you places you could never go. Legends of heroes, folklore, stories of otherworldly phenomena. They can be terrifying and they can be exhilarating. They may not be real, but they give you a little glimpse into the author's heart. Let you feel like you're seeing the same thing they saw.
You are a very empathetic girl. Fiction inspires nothing of the sort in me. However, that was long ago, and I'm too, so I can no longer remember what it feels like.
I'm sure it'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. Sorry. I'm making you uncomfortable again. How about we read this book today?
It should be a collection of legends.
You haven't read this one yet then? Good to hear. It'll be more enjoyable if it's a new experience for the both of us. It looks like it's a record of local legends.
The book is divided into several sections, though it appears to be mostly superstitions.
I am curious what kind of stories this area has. The two of them were looking down at the simple, undecorated volume. As the white-haired girl had said, it seemed to be a collection of local legends passed down generation to generation. They sat across from one another at the table, her turning the pages and Michael simply watching so as to not brush against her. Eventually her eyes were drawn to a particular word on one of the pages, bringing her hand to a stop. The witch. That chapter detailed the story of a witch, or more precisely, said witch's curse. The story went something like this.
There once was a witch skilled in the dark arts. She lived a meager but peaceful life alongside the other villagers. But then a long, long drought struck the village, which the people blamed on the witch. The witch was sentenced to death, and as fire blazed around her, smoke rose high into the air. The smoke soon became rain clouds, blessing the village with an end to the drought. The crops were revitalized, and the villagers fancied themselves heroes. However, the rain also brought madness upon the people. Though the earth below them was lush and fertile, the villagers were losing their minds, and they eventually began to take each other's lives. The witch still lived on, in the form of a curse. Many fell victim to the witch's curse, though not only did it take, also fulfilled people's desires. The villagers had gone mad, but the wish for freedom in the drought had begun. Thus, the legend was passed down as follows. The witch will grant your wish in exchange for a great sacrifice. As smoke in the sky, she watches down on us from above. To reach the witch, climb for the heavens, but know the road is destruction.
People still believe the witch's legend even now, I suppose. And that's why I...
Face accusations of being a witch. They're very welcoming to outsiders, especially one who stands out as much as you do. What brought you to this region in the first place?
I think there's a story I'm sure you've heard before. I was cast out of my house. I come from a very poor family. We could barely even afford to keep everyone fed. Being as weak as I am, it was only natural that I would be the first to go.
You see,
What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people wishes. That is to say, she had reason enough to hold a grudge, but not to give people the things they asked for.
all we have to go on is there's no saying what might have been changed or added over time, and it's almost certain the entire legend isn't written here. That said, if we are willing to accept everything as written, you can infer that the witch's reason might have been,
And that is...
if you really want it that much, you can have it, but I'll make certain your suffering outweighs it. Despair that comes after a moment of happiness is far more agonizing than despair alone. I presume that is why the witch decided to grant people's wishes.
That is one way to look at it. May I ask you something? When I first arrived here, you told me that a cursed witch used to live in this mansion. After reading this legend, I'm now finding it hard to believe you made that up simply to scare me away.
Really pale. It said the witch was born in this house.
What?
Quite the place my family found for me, but it was a clever decision to put me here, I think. Not many people are likely to come near a house with such a pedigree.
But... No, never mind. That makes sense. I suspect I know what she was going to say then. If the witch is said to grant wishes, then wouldn't that also attract people who so desperately want something? They do not care what price they must pay. And perhaps she was correct. Perhaps there had been those who had come to the mansion chasing after the legend. And perhaps they had encountered Michael, touched him, and lost their lives. On that day in the garden he had said, "Many things are buried here." Perhaps that included such visitors. I wonder if that story might be more than mere superstition.
If the witch legend really did exist, what would you do?
It might be nice to talk to her, maybe.
That's all? Really?
I feel a little bad for her, though. The only people who ever visit her are there to ask for something, after all. I can only imagine just how lonely that must be.
That's where I'm not wondering the way your mind works.
Sorry.
We assume the legend is true. I have an idea what climb for the heavens might mean.
Oh?
The mansion has an observation tower. Or, I suppose what used to be an observation tower. At any rate, it's quite a tall structure. This is the house where the witch was supposedly born. A tower reaching for the heavens seems like the perfect place to find her. If she really is here.
Oh, yes, I remember seeing a rather tall structure as I first approached the mansion.
Would you like to see it?
Of course. Please, lead the way. Sorry, I heard a meow, but I don't know where the fuck it came from.
Oh, no, I heard it too.
Because he's asleep and it sounded like
He's asleep and she's also asleep.
both kitties.
Maybe it was asleep, you know, like a snore.
But it came from that direction.
Maybe they're sneaky.
Sneaky.
They're astral projecting across the apartment to fuck with you.
The two of them left the library and made their way to the room with the stained glass window. At the far end of that room were the stairs to the observation tower. The tale of the witch had piqued the white-haired girl's interest, inspiring her to put herself forward to satisfy that curiosity. She had, after all, been accused of being a witch herself, so she undoubtedly felt an affinity to the legend. What a sweet girl she was. With Michael in the lead, the two climbed a long, long spiral staircase. There were many more stairs than the white-haired girl had anticipated, and she soon found herself short of breath. Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in regular intervals. Peering through one of them, she could see a village in the distance. A pleasantly cool, high-altitude breeze brushed across her face. After much climbing, they finally arrived at the top, where a door made of partially rotted wood stood. Michael pulled open the door, revealing a small room with no windows or doors in sight. This is the top of the tower. Despite it being called an observation tower, you could hardly observe anything from there. Her face contorted in confusion, the white-haired girl threw her gaze about the room. Glancing up, she saw only a darkened ceiling, and slightly below it, a single small window through which shone a little ray of light. Oh my god. Light of ray. I am struggling with the words today.
That's okay.
The beam cleaved through the darkness like a sharpened blade of a beautiful sword. The darkness draped over the rest of the room only served to make more impressive that solitary ray of light. It had a magical fairy tale quality to it. As if being pulled in by it, she drew towards the light.
I suspect that This one's a large one. If you look closely, you can see seams in the stone of the wall. The color of the stone differs slightly on either side of the seams. I presume something caused them to seal off the window after it was built. Though I don't know what that something might be.
When Michael's eyes fell upon the white-haired girl wrapped in that beam of light, he sputtered to a stop. The man who never flinched at anything, who had long since distanced himself from such stirrings of the heart, was utterly bewitched.
The witch. The witch.
He had never seen her illuminated so vividly before, and he was having a great deal of trouble finding the words to describe her striking beauty. For someone who had been chased out of her home and accused of being a witch, the white-haired girl looked less like a practitioner of the dark arts, and more like one of the host of heaven. Michael undoubtedly felt the same way, for his gaze was affixed firmly upon her. Dazzling, isn't it? Like a staircase leading to heaven.
Yes. So,
What's the matter?
very handsome.
Very convincing. You know, it feels like there's something odd in the air here. It feels like someone might actually be listening.
The witch won't speak to you, you say.
I would ask her to tell me her true feelings, to tell me what kind of person she was, and what kind of pain she had to endure. I just want to know what she felt, this woman people branded a witch.
The witch was from perspective. It's possible she was a fearsome witch. It's also possible that she wasn't.
I get the feeling she was just persecuted, like me. Like me and you.
She wasn't really here. It's really but she was strange, incomprehensible, irrational creature. Maybe I'm not even a living being, and that's why when I touch something that is, I bring them death.
If only I actually were a witch. If only I actually had some kind of extraordinary power, regardless of whether it came from God or the devil, then I would be able to grant people's wishes.
My wish need not be granted.
But it's what I want too. I wish to be able to touch you. I would be perfectly content with nothing changing, with us never being able to touch one another. I would be more than happy with that. But I'm allowed to dream, aren't I? It doesn't have to be in this life. I pray the day will come when we can get closer, even if it has to happen in another life.
Happiness is very much a stranger to me, but am I allowed to dream too?
You are.
I will never touch you, I swear it. I would like to dream about it. I would like to imagine placing my hand upon your cheek.
You can. Reach your hand out for me.
It looks like he's trying to stick his finger in her ear.
It does, yeah. And the ear.
He's like, alright, time to pick the ear, come on.
Come on, come on.
He's like, I thought one too many of those ear picking TikTok things, and now I'm gonna try it myself. But you're supposed to use like one of those sticks with a camera at the end. I know what I'm doing.
Don't question me!
Don't question me. I am like 3 times your age. I know what I'm doing. You know, just a subtle reminder to everyone that this is not cool. It's slightly above room temperature.
I am also warm.
I might need to adjust the thermostat again because I set it down and I'm like, okay, we're comfortable. And then lately we've both been warm and I'm like, I'm warm, and he's like, I am warm, and I'm like, but the thermostat is a pain in the ass and I don't want to do it.
The thermostat is a pain in the ass.
So, It would be way more convenient if it was not in the wall and I could sit down and like, do it on an app or something. But you have to go there, and for like every 3 hours, you have to program in what the temperature is supposed to be. So like Monday from like 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., from 9 a.m. to noon, from noon to 3, and I'm like, can I just put on there that I want it to always be 69 degrees? Please.
Please.
But no, you have to set it for like every 3 hours or some shit per day. For like the entire week. So to do the whole thing takes you like 10 minutes. And I know it's just 10 minutes, but it's like when you're warm, that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time.
Yeah. It's a lot. I will imagine it too. I'm imagining your fingers running through my hair, brushing up against my skin. Feel your warmth.
Actually, I said 3 times, but it's more like 2 times. But still, it's not cool. Boo.
Boo. There was a wall between them, a wall they could not cross.
The
But if
wall
they
is called
did,
common decency.
it
and
would
they
mean
crossed.
the white-haired girl's death.
The wall is common decency, and they are trying to cross it, try as they might.
Yeah,
How dare.
how dare. No matter how much they yearned for it, they could not touch one another. So they did so within the confines of their imagination, envisioning it in as much detail as they could manage. It was sad, but sweet, a moment of pristine, untainted beauty. The two of them emanated serenity. As fitting as the word cursed might have been to the mansion as a whole, at the top of the observation tower, a pure bond was being shared. A fleeting moment between a young man with a cursed touch and a kind-hearted, beautiful girl. The dream did not last long. No, for God is quite cruel. They simply wanted to be together. That was all. Their wish was hardly unreasonable. Only a quiet, peaceful life together. But misfortune was creeping ever nearer, its footsteps growing more and more pronounced. Ah.
I don't think that's what you want to say, but go ahead. Just keep going.
Is someone at the door? The flow of time was hazy within the mansion's walls. They had little way of telling whether it was night or day, preventing them from knowing exactly how much time had passed. The white-haired girl had made a bit of a habit climbing the observation tower every so often to see whether the sun was up, which allowed her to approximate the time of day. Consequently, when she heard the knock on the door, she was not aware just how deep the night was outside, that forest and beast alike had lay quietly at rest. All right, the stores in the cellar are almost exhausted. It must be this month's delivery. Not thinking it was worth bothering Michael over, she made her way out of her chambers and headed for the entrance. There had only been a single knock. There was 3. There was 3.
She must have only woke up to the last one. What?
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 Leading her to conclude that, as before, the servant had simply left the box outside the door. So without a second thought, she opened the door, and there she saw a strange, vagrant man standing in the moonlight. His clothes were tattered, his bearded face bony and emaciated. Ah. She gasped, shrinking back several paces. Ah! Ah! Ah!
I'm supposed to say you, goddammit!
I was supposed to say Yuka.
You.
Oh, I don't.
Supposed to be you, but you did not. You broke it. I was listing all the vowels.
I did the vowel, but I did it in the wrong language.
And do we want to find out who was knocking at the door, or are we just not gonna ever tell anyone?
Figure it out yourself. I'm not fucking on your hand, but I look like your mom.
You can go buy the game on Steam, figure it out.
I got hurt myself.
Well, I think you deserve that.
Wow. He gasps, shrinking back several paces. The heavy door began to swing shut, but the man forced it open, glaring down at her with unfocused eyes and mumbling.
That'll grant people's wishes.
It was in that moment the white-haired girl realised she had been careless. That man had sought out the mansion because he believed the legend of the witch, and he did not seem particularly right of mind either. Perhaps the result of wandering through the forest for several days. Or perhaps it was because he was so beaten down that he thought to ask for a witch's help. In a word, he seemed mad. No, there is no witch here.
Don't lie to me. I can hear the witch's voice. Let me into this house.
I promise you there isn't. Now please, be on your way.
You any idea how long it took to find this place? How many days I've gone without food or water? And you're telling me to get lost?
I don't know what you want from me. I'm happy to give you a little food, so please.
Is there really no witch?
There's no witch here. It's nothing but a legend. If she does exist, she doesn't live here.
You're just an ordinary person. Just a person, just a girl. There ain't a thing you can do.
No, get away from me! What are you doing?
Why waste your time for you to get me a little grub when I can just take it all? I'm starving here. So hungry I could eat a human.
You're about to commit a grievous sin. Are you not ashamed to act in defiance of God?
Oh, if I believed in God, would I come begging to a witch? I don't fear him, and I sure as hell don't fear people. Who's gonna show up at a house in the middle of nowhere? Gonna call me out? Who's gonna stop me?
Mm.
No one. That's who.
Mm.
Trying so hard to give the gruff voice, and I can't do that when I'm laughing and fucking stuff. No one's gonna stop me, and no one's gonna offer me salvation. You're a woman, so before I kill you. What are you doing? There are other people here.
The white-haired girl lay pinned on the floor beneath the yelling bandit, pleading for help with her ruby eyes. As soon as Michael grasped the situation, he tossed his candlestick aside and leapt for the man. The candlestick gave a sharp clang when it hit the floor. The impact extinguished the flame, bringing the mansion to near perfect darkness.
That was more of a shatter, less than a clang, but okay.
That was more of a shatter. Something glinted in the bandit's hand, and then, without hesitation, he thrust it at Michael. No!
How stupid you've been to come at me unarmed.
In his hand, the man held a knife, its tip dripping with Michael's blood. Red spilled from the gash in his arm, the flow growing heavier with each passing moment.
Works in here by the looks of it, huh? Perfect, I'll take you both out. You... What? You don't appear to know whose house you tried to break into. What are you on about? Regret your ignorance to your last breath. You're messed up in the head, you madman! Hey, stay the hell back! Take one more step and I'll...
And
Inherited the witch's curse.
Michael clutched the man's face in one hand. The man raised his knife to strike back, but the strength drained from his fingers, the knife falling to the floor. The man writhed in Michael's grip.
This place immediately. Then you won't get far afflicted with my curse.
Helpless to fight back, nay, helpless to even consider fighting back, the bandit fled from the mansion in terror. In his wake, only the white-haired girl and a bleeding Michael remained. Michael saw a man's life taken from him, his face withering away, completely dry. I didn't doubt him, but dear God, that was
quite disturbing for you, I'm sure. Oh, hi, Nut. Hello.
vampire.
Vampire.
No, not at all. It's my fault anyway. If I hadn't been so careless. Oh, your arm. We need to get that wrapped up.
Please do not touch me. You mustn't touch me. The wound is hardly fatal.
It's all my fault. I'm so sorry.
No, a degree of the blame falls on me for saying nothing. Next time someone comes to the door, let me know.
I'm sorry.
Please, you don't need to apologize. Well,
Yes?
it's a matter of myself. I could use this terrible ability of mine to use in more than just take a life. Protect someone that I care about. So like I said, please don't apologize.
Right. Thank you. Michael. I'm glad you're here. I care about you too. Had the flame of Michael's candle not gone out when he threw it to the floor, he would have seen a heartfelt smile on the white-haired girl's face, and she would have seen a flush of red and an awkward smile on Michael's normally blank face. He might have also seen a little glimmer on her cheek, where a few drops of his blood had landed, but alas, they had no light. Uh-oh, Slippy was... Uh-oh,
It's killing me again.
uh-oh,
It's a cursed place.
it's a curse. The collapse of their happiness came slowly.
Do not lick the blood
gradually.
nut.
Don't lick it! It was because she had touched his blood instead of his skin, but the deterioration of the white-haired girl's health crept along at a relaxed pace. It doesn't. I would imagine it would be stronger with the blood.
Yeah. Like, it would go. Dust.
The life was not sucked out of her in the blink of an eye as it had been from the bandit. She merely grew progressively less and less healthy. Amidst her physical decay, she was bestowed with one blessing. Her beauty remained untouched. But as far as blessings went, surely there were others she could have been granted. Could God not have picked something a little better for her? By the time the two of them realised what was happening, it was already too late. The white-haired girl had grown so weak she could hardly leave her bed. Oh, you are there. Thank goodness. I can't see very well anymore.
No, I did the exact opposite.
Please don't talk that way. You did save me that day.
Let's put death now, and it's my fault. Because this curse that I bear. How? How could this happen? Why did this have to happen? What am I? Why was I given this body?
Michael. Ask you a favor. Stay with me, please. As much as you can, until the very end.
I can do as much anyway.
Thank you. Happy, Michael. Happier than I've ever been. And I mean that. You didn't just save my life. You saved me. I've been saved. But only me. I wonder if you'll handle things when I'm gone. If Only I hadn't opened the door that day. I wouldn't be leaving him all alone. We could be happy together for even longer. Please hold my hand. I think it's probably safe now.
Not touch you. If I do, I might take what remains of your life. Take your beauty away and force you to die hideous.
Well, that's pleasant.
Wow, what a bastard.
It's like I know I'm killing you, but like at least if you're gonna die, I want you to die pretty and not look fucking horrendous.
No, that would be bad.
That would be too far. Oh,
I think something's not quite right. What do you think?
something's a bit iffy. Something happened. He doing the big thing.
Okay, it's the little kid because I don't know.
Here, it's her. On his way back from the washroom several days later, Michael heard muffled voices.
I think I was right. I think the kid's fine. The kid's fine. It's fine.
He was having trouble making out what they were saying, but he could tell it was several men and a child. And they were outside the front door.
For a minute, I was like, wait. No, it doesn't actually say Anna.
It doesn't actually say Anna.
Wait, it knows?
It knows? No, it does not know.
Pinball brain getting to me. No, I remember this portion of the game probably the least out of all of it because I do not like this section
Right.
for reasons. I mean, it's not even that it's like traumatizing or anything. It's probably like the least traumatizing section of the game.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the one part I'm like, eh. I just like,
I see.
yes, the child.
The child. The fact that he could hear them at all through the heavy door meant they were probably shouting quite loudly. An indescribable sense of uneasiness came over him. Dread. He drew nearer to the door and focused on the voices on the other side. They grew clearer, enough for him to make out what the men were saying. Everything is in place. We're ready to kill the witch now. This is definitely the place. That half-dead bandit said she was in this mansion.
Listen, well, no matter what we find here, we kill it. It took me a minute. I was struggling to process the missing letters. What do you mean not?
Yeah, please explain. What Manto?
Yes, sorry. I saw a man's voice and I'm like waiting for the child to speak. Listen, well, no matter what we find in there, we kill it. It can be a child for all I care. Like this child. It could be this child.
Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Kill the witch! What he had held beyond the door was a group of men shouting for the death of the witch. In that moment, Michael regretted his decision to let the bandit go free and not watch over him until the moment of his demise. He must have made his way down to the village in search of help when he revealed what he had found at the mansion. Oh, I see. Burn the witch! Burn the
Always
witch!
transing existing about 700 years too soon.
Yeah.
Maybe he was the witch all along.
Alois was the witch.
I mean, it would explain a lot.
It would. Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
I was like, ooh. It's like I bent it slightly, so I was like,
Why did you put the box like
it was broken. I'm so sad. I don't know how that happened.
fucking bringing him surprise books home and he's bending them?
I love my surprise book. My surprise book is amazing.
Surprise book. Damn it.
But it was too late. Regret would solve nothing. He could neither stop the villagers from raiding the house, nor could he stop the white-haired girl from dying to the effects of his curse. He was helpless to do anything. The gears of his fate had locked him onto a path of tragedy and were turning mercilessly onwards.
See, I'm still giggling at fucking young Eloise because you know who I pictured when you started doing the voice,
What?
and with the fact that it's a group of innocent, end quote, people who they're going after like the witch because the witch is evil. I was sitting there thinking like it's alternate dimension fucking what's his face, Luca,
Oh.
because you know how he goes get the demon to kill the village.
Yeah.
Like this is alternate dimension Luca who's got the village to kill the demon.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like it's the same wavelength. It's the same wavelength. It's
Same
funny.
line. The communal brain cell is at work.
We all share one brain cell, and it is warped beyond recognition. It's been run over by a car, by a train,
It's yeah.
it's set on fire.
Yeah.
It's been left to explore the flesh wall. Like it's been places.
Oh. The men had begun trying to break down the door with what sounded like a battering ram.
I'm imagining the kid just dangling from the battering ram. It's like,
I'm the witch!
like, and it's like, oh, oh, and he's just being flung into the door like full force because he's hanging onto it like, and it's that small of a ram.
Yeah.
He's just smacking the door, getting bruised to fuck. But he's like, let's go, and they're like, kid, are you sure you're okay? And they're like,
Go! Oh no, wait!
like you're gonna die, kid. He's like, I don't care, burn the witch.
Burn the witch! While the first strike was not enough to breach the barrier, it was still quite powerful. He was certain it would not hold for long. Michael's mind raced. Was there anything he could do about this predicament?
The
The
kid
kid
is the battering ram.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How could he escape from the corner he had been backed into? Despite his possessing inhuman powers, he would be powerless against a full mob of adult men and a child. The villagers almost certainly came armed as well.
The child.
Michael? A weak voice came from behind him. Aghast, he spun around to find the white-haired girl stumbling towards him.
Aghast.
She breathed heavily, leaning against columns of support.
What are you doing up here? You only worsen your condition by exerting yourself.
I had a sinking feeling, and I heard noises on my way here. It seems that I have brought all my misfortune upon you.
Don't say that.
If I hadn't come here, this never would have happened. You never would have been in any danger. Please, Michael, hand me over to the men outside.
Absolutely not. We'll do no such thing.
They're here for the witch, aren't they? I'm guessing they're the same people who were chasing me before. The village had a poor harvest this year, I hear.
Why does the kid sound familiar to you?
Does the child sound familiar? You recognise the very small voice line, burn the witch! Like the village in the legend. And I believe, they believe it's the witch's curse.
But you're not a witch.
They need someone to fill the role though. So please, hand me over, and then escape on your own.
Never.
Please, Michael.
I'm the one who's cursed, not you. And you want me to hand you over? What then? Nothing. Not a thing. I would have nothing. After so long, I have finally found someone who isn't afraid of me, who won't run. I have no interest in a world that would take you away from me to make me live alone once more. To hell with such a world!
Michael. If that's what you wish, then stay with me until the very end. I probably wanted to hear that just as much as him. No, not probably. I did. I wanted to have someone at my side as much as him. It's so lonely not having anyone. To live alone. To die alone. To not have anyone watching over you. For no one to even know you're dead. I simply wanted someone to tell me they're here for me. To be there. To hold my hand. How wonderful that would be. The sense of utter relief it would bring would be enough to cast away all the pain. To allow me to accept all our suffering. So please, tell me you'll... Michael and the white-haired girl chose to spend the final moments at the top of the observation tower. They could hear the crash of the battering ram against the door, the shouts of men and their stomping feet. But despite all of that, the ray of light shining through the little window was as beautiful as always. The room's air of serenity remained unimpeached. After the long climb to the top, the white-haired girl was terribly out of breath. Michael considered several times offering her his hand, but the possibility that doing so might rob her of her last scraps of life stayed his hand.
Yeah, needs to stop him.
Ah,
Yeah, to stay someone's hand needs to stop him. It sounds like they broke down the door. Honestly, at this point, he could probably just grab her hand and be fine because they're going to die by mob anyway.
yeah.
Like, it would probably be more peaceful for her to go, letting the life drain out of her, than to be stabbed to death.
Yeah.
Like, both sound like shit ways to go. But
Sorry, I saw the kid just the battering ram again.
the battering ran.
Run, yeah.
Glad we made it up here when we did.
So sorry for asking this of you.
Hey. I'm here for my final moments as well. This is the one place in the mansion with any sunlight. One place I can get a good look.
Yeah. Really glad that I was able to end up here, that I was able to meet you, and more than anything that you said you cared about me. Have I managed to become an essential part of your life?
You even need to ask. I wouldn't be here otherwise. I feel the same way as you, I'm sure of it.
The two of us are more similar than you'd probably care to admit. Can I ask you one more thing? What are you calling for?
Gagging.
Oh. Embrace me. If this is to be the end, if this is to be my last chance, then I don't want it to end without having been able to touch you. Please don't refuse me this, Michael. Just do it, please.
I won't keep you waiting.
Thank you.
Because being able to meet you.
Dreamed of it too. Thank you. It's so very.
I will never know what Shibari was. Still so what a cruel joke. Not giving us some other miracle. One that would allow us both to survive.
Where'd you get off to? I can't find her, damn it!
Hey, there's some stairs over there. This way, kid. Hey, lead off.
Beneath a single ray of light, the white-haired girl lay completely still. Not even a frail sigh escaped her closed lips. The kid is the battering ram. She remained as gorgeous as ever. It was as though she had simply fallen asleep in the sunlight. Looking down upon her, Michael determined to do one thing.
Will not allow anyone to slay this fight. And what do you mean, nut?
Not means. Not just means. He gave a fleeting glance back at her pristine corpse, then opened the door and stepped through it alone. He would protect that room where she lay. What do you mean we were up the battering ram one time? Hey, there's someone up here!
This is where you've been hiding, you infernal witch.
Wait, that's not the girl!
Like, no, I can't do any more voices right now. I'm too focused. It must be the kid. All the men are the child.
The raucous sound of their footsteps rang up from below. Shortly thereafter, the men themselves came into view.
I see. Oh, I see. I guess we were all the battering ram once.
We were all the battering ram at some point.
What's the nut?
Maybe the true battering ram was the friends we made along the way.
Bust the nut to bust the eggy. I think how it's not bust the egg, it's bust the eggy.
Bust the eggy. As he had expected, they were heavily armed. He glowered at the men, then sucked in a deep breath and shouted at the top of his lungs.
I have the witch you seek.
He must have very small lungs if that's at the top of his lungs.
Maybe.
I
I have inherited her curse, and it was I who will bring calamity Ganon upon you.
You hear that?
But he's a...
Man or woman, it doesn't matter. Death to the witch! Cleanse this earth of all impurity!
Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
Burn the witch! Michael did not flinch at the sight of the men. He stood unyielding between them and the door. He did not flinch when they raised their weapons against him, nor when they pierced his body. Death and die on violence and killing. Death and violence and killing. Deep and struggle and suffer and die. Take your curse with you.
Weep and struggle and suffer and die.
Also, V, I just want you to know that you missed the word freedom earlier.
Tut.
There was a freedom, and it was missed.
It was methoded.
It's okay, we forgive you. But, you know, the entirety of Scotland, the whole country, every single person just shed exactly one tear over the fact that the Scotland sound was not played. Even those who were not aware of the channel, they do not know why they
knew.
But they knew. Very delayed. I'm sorry that the sound effects were so delayed. I can't believe
They
they
must
shut
shake.
off when you asked for them. I'm so sorry. Here, you can have the points back since Sound Alert did not play it when you were meant to.
It's
There.
okay.
There, your points have been given back.
You have been refunded.
This life any longer. It's all yours.
Chub.
Well, that even which I wish to protect.
Well, alright.
least I can work one thing before my life is done.
Can't believe you scammed her with one bit of this envy.
Why are you passing out? Like, are you okay? Is your health okay?
Do you need assistance?
Speaking of health being okay, I just want people to know I'm being forced to take tests in my sleep. This is bullshit.
Oh shit.
Can you imagine being forced to take sleep in your sleep?
That sounds horrendous.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. You read this line, didn't you?
No. At the very least, I can protect one thing before my life is done. Not even one of you will leave this place. Wither and die by my curse.
We can struggle and suffer and die. The blood spilling from his skewered body flowed down the stairs, down and down like a little river, soaking the feet of every single man and child who had stormed the mansion. This was the last thing he saw before the final grains of life slipped between his fingers, which brought a faint smile to his lips.
Burn the witch.
Uh-oh. Neither of them had expected what happened next, though, for God has a most twisted sense of humour. The white-haired girl had not miraculously passed away without being robbed of her beauty.
Am I still alive?
She had rather not passed away at all. Quite cruel of him, was it not? Michael? Where have you gone, Michael? Michael? I smell blood. Blood.
For the record, I just want people to know I will take the rest of these streams fairly seriously. It's just this one section I'm not a fan of, so I'm gonna rip the piss out of it. I'm gonna keep ripping the piss out of it. It's essential. This section needs to happen, but I don't have to.
Had he allowed her to die, she would not have been made to witness the scene that awaited her. No, no. And I'm sure you know just what it was that she laid eyes upon in that moment. The ravaged corpse of her beloved. A torrent of blood streaming down, down, down the spiral staircase, and the sickening stench it raised. No! Why? And his was not the only body. The villagers who had assaulted the mansion had been subjected to his curse, the life drained from their withered shells. Why did this? Michael, why? Why am I the only one still alive? That is a question I cannot answer either. Perhaps his curse did not affect those he loved, as terribly cruel as that might be. I cannot say. Why? You said we would go together. A world without you has no meaning. Had she actually expended her life there in that room at the top of the tower, perhaps this tale could have had a happy ending. She would have at least been able to have the man she loved at her side until her very last moments upon this earth. But that was not what had transpired. She had survived, been left utterly alone. I felt a profound pity for the miserable girl, so I called out to her. Oh.
One sec, guys. Hold on. I have to spell spirits in there. One sec. Okay, I have confessed my secrets.
The secrets have been shared. Would you like to see him once more? I have the power to help you meet him again. Who's there? Where are you? You know what they call this mansion. So who do you suppose remains on these grounds? No way. You're a legend. You actually exist. Now I asked you a simple question. Would you like to see him again? Which grants people's wishes, but at a price. I said I wouldn't ask her I wouldn't ask for her assistance if I met her. But that's all changed. Now that I've lost him. If it's truly possible, then yes, I want to see him. Bring him back to life. Regrettably, I cannot directly meddle with the forces of life and death. However, I can guarantee you this. Your reconstruction. Reconstruction? Correct. To ensure that you remain as yourself in future lives and are not reborn as someone else, your body and mind shall be reconstructed, as shall his. If you sincerely wish to reunite with one another, if you genuinely need each other in your lives, you will eventually meet again. All I can promise you is eternal reconstruction. What you make of it is up to you. You want to see him again, don't you? You want to hear his voice again, don't you? You want to feel his hand on your cheek once more, don't you? If that's what you want, then you must remain who you are. If you're simply reborn, that wouldn't be you. So there wouldn't be any point, would there? Me as I am, and he is his. Make up your mind quickly. I will not wait long. I want to see him again. As you wish, sweet little girl. I shall grant you both eternal reconstruction, and pray with all my heart that you can attain true happiness. Shortly thereafter, the white-haired girl took her own life. She decided she had nothing to gain by remaining in the present time, and that in order to reunite with Michael, she needed to make her way to her next life. And thus, the mansion was left bereft of a master, to travel slowly through the ages until someone came along to give it life once more. But an unfathomable amount of time has passed, and the two have still yet to reunite. Have they, Master? You know now who you are, do you not? You remember everything now, do you not? You were present in every single era. The reason for which is, as I described in the previous tale, because you yearned to be reunited with someone. But that person never showed up, in any era. And poor, sweet you, having no memory of any of that, lived those lives with other men. Is it any surprise misfortune befell those eras, then? The door swung closed. I'm confused. Is this me or you? This is the generic one. You.
Yeah. Okay, but we other than outside, you and the maid were inside a dull monochrome room at the top of the observation tower. The awe-inspiring ray of light shone not through the lone window high upon the stone wall. Wrapped in curious impenetrable darkness, you both stood alone in the room. I get used to expecting it to be the maid, and then the minute I get comfortable, it's not the maid anymore. I'm like, fuck!
Yeah.
The maid wore a gentle but cold smile as she looked straight at you.
It's not your fault misfortune befell you. The only force to blame for that is fate. You were always so kind, so pure of heart. You had boundless trust for others and the goodness of other people. You were the very image of all that is right. There is no greater misfortune than someone as pure and beautiful as you, being mercilessly thrown into the grinding gears of tragedy again and again. I still pity you for everything you had to go through. You poor, poor soul. You must be utterly exhausted, constantly betrayed, the man you were waiting for never appearing. After so long, your spirit worn down to the bone, you lost any and all awareness of who you even were. Who were you hoping to find wandering into this illusory mansion, cut off from the real world?
Well, I hope you're not expecting any answers. Well, I'm not giving you any.
I also have many questions, but
I won't give him any. What makes you think I'm giving anyone else answers?
yeah. You and I are the only ones here. The man you seek is nowhere to be found. Have you still not figured it out? Then allow me to tell you everything. I am the cursed witch Morgana who haunts this mansion, and you are the tragic plaything of fate, the white-haired girl named Giselle. Did my calling you master confuse you? If so, then I apologize. My habit of calling the master or mistress of the house master is quite deeply ingrained. And yes, that means precisely what you think it does. That I have accepted you as my new master. That I wish for you to remain here, to stay with me. So let us put an end to this journey. Do not worry, there's nothing to fear. We are simply going to step outside the river of time. Nothing unpleasant will ever happen to you again. I will be here with you for all eternity, and I will give you my utmost care. You will not have to wait for anyone. Forget about him, the man you once sought, and I am sure you shall find happiness. Please, do it for me. I have been waiting for you for so very long. I have wanted nothing more than to see you again, but you are continually stolen away from me, despite my sincerest desires to spend my days with you, which is why I wanted you to recall everything. For surely you would not willingly repeat the same fate if you knew of all the pain it had caused you to suffer thus far. Spend eternity with me in the gentle embrace of darkness. Steve.
Don't worry, we're not leaving you on this cliffhanger.
V is too tired for this shite.
Oh, it's fine. It's gonna get worse. The maid extended her hand for you. Fingers brushed up against yours, and they were as cold as that. But her breath tickled your skin pleasantly, and her sweet words rang in your ears, filling you with her warmth. You thought back on your time with her in the mansion. She had indeed always treated you with great compassion, and she had never said anything that seemed to be a lie. And so you pondered, I say too soon.
Yeah.
What were you to do?
No scene.
You guys have a preference?
Is there a preference? Accept.
She was absolutely right.
I lost the controller for a second there.
You had seen an excess of tragedy. You had borne witness to far too much pain, and your spirit was deeply wounded by it. You could not possibly endure any further tragedy. And so, if she was offering you relief from all that, then perhaps you should accept it. She had guided you thus far, never letting go of your hand. And it was her presence that allowed you to bear the bleak, disheartening, and wretched tales you saw. Did you really need anything else other than her? If she said she wanted to be with you, then surely you were allowed to want the same.
Grasp my hand, master. Come hold it tight.
You gently wrapped your fingers around the maid's cold hand. Never again to let go. Never again to remember. Never again to look back upon the past you might have had. The rare treasured days of happiness, or the bitter days filled with nothing but pain, or the person you were supposed to find. But you were fine with that. There was no one to criticize you for averting your eyes from your pain and seizing the opportunity for happiness lying before you. You made the correct choice. Well, then. Goodbye, you can all go home.
Master? Master? Oh, thank goodness you've awoken. I was getting worried there for a moment. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some wonderful chamomile leaves if you would like. Or perhaps your tastes have changed since we last met. Tell me, master. I beg your pardon. I allowed myself to get too excited. But we get to be together forever after all. Free the flow of time. Free of the flow of time, nothing to endanger us or our lives. Just peace and serenity for the two of us. I will serve you forever and ever. Does that not sound wonderful, Master? Lisbuan.
Well, what did you guys think at the end? Ending 1, Prisoner of Illusion. What? This was a bad ending. What? It's not over? There's more?
Done. Done, done, done.
There's more? We'll be right back with more items.
Oh,
Oh, we've returned.
Unicorn.
Hello. Back our memories. Let's go.
take memories. Yeah, I need you to. Okay, so we did accept, we now reject.
You could not accept the maid's offer. If what she said was true, you could not give up on your search. You'd spent years and years waiting to reunite with someone. Your previous attempts at life may have been rife with mistakes, but you could not stop trying.
Come, master. Spend eternity with me in the mansion. We will have the most wonderful time together.
Cold fingers, icy smile. Things were all terrifying now. You had to escape. Had to break out of this darkness and make it outside.
Master? What is the...
You brushed the maid's hand aside. As her eyes widened aghast, you fled from the observation tower.
Okay.
Down and down the spiral staircase you went, though not a whisper of a footstep could be heard in the stone tower. The stairs seemed to go on forever. Down and down and down and down. At long last, you arrived at the bottom, dashing from the next room without a passing glance at the angel in the stained glass window. So, chat, do we believe the maid? Do we believe her all about who we are and who she is and who everyone is? The maid had shown you around the mansion, so you knew its layout. Or perhaps you were familiar with it even before arriving here. A large door came to view. The exit was up ahead.
Master?
But the next moment, her voice seized you from behind. You turned back, and there stood the maid, wearing the same smile.
Where do you think you're going, master? Yeah, nobody believes him. I told you, you mustn't let go of my hand. This mansion is quite large. You could get lost if you go walking around unaccompanied. Now come, let us head back. And please, do not let go of my hand.
It's the same smile she always wore. The exact same. But right now, it seemed inexplicably ghoulish. The chill that ran down your spine was not from lack of heat, but utter terror.
Come, let us head somewhere else.
You had to get out of here.
Oh, I know. We can put some more kindling in the fireplace and start a fire. The sweet firelight and gentle warmth will have you feeling wonderful in no time.
You had to get out of here.
You must be quite disoriented. The impact of regaining your memories has you terrified. Am I correct?
You have to get away. You had to escape. You have to get out of here.
Do not worry. I will always take care of you. Keep you safe from anything that scares you. I will be here with you, forever.
You clawed at the door. It was not barred, so it should open. Nevertheless, it remained firmly in place.
No, you mustn't play around with that. Danger lurks around every corner outside. Fog blocking your sight, sinkholes in the road, a thick forest all around, beasts creeping about in the night. How could I possibly allow weak little you to go out into that? Now come back to my side, please. You have no need to be here.
The maid drew towards you. She reached out her hand. Her whole body seemed to be trying to encase you in ice. She wanted to keep you chained here in the darkness.
Do not worry, there is nothing to be afraid of.
You had to get out of this place. You had to break free. From this house of darkness, from this doting maid, and from the maelstrom of tragedy. You had to remain firm, unyielding in that desire. Your desire to go outside. Your wish to be set free. You could not compromise or relent. Your thirst for escape had to be stronger than the maid's intent to keep you here. If it was, the door would surely open.
Master.
You dashed out into the light. There was nothing blocking your escape outside. No fog, no forest, no sinkholes, and no beasts in sight. The light was so bright it almost hurt your eyes. It was a world almost the exact opposite of the darkness within the house.
Master, please wait. You mustn't go out there. Come back, quickly.
You could hear the maid's voice, but you kept running through the light as far as you could go. Wherever you arrived, you were sure that that was where you were meant to be. Once, though, just once, you looked back over your shoulder. It was blurry in the bright light, but you could see the mansion there. It wavered like a mirage, as though it could disappear at any second. The maid standing in the open door. She was desperately reaching her hands out for you, but you were far out of reach. It seemed like she could not leave the house. Perhaps you felt a pang of pity for her. And when you could no longer hear the maid shouting for you, your consciousness snapped off. Fell not into darkness, but light.
What was I doing again? That's right. I was on my way to school. Now, what was I doing dozing off in the middle of the road? I'm not sure. I feel kind of in a daze. Like I just woke up from a terrible nightmare. In the middle of the day? In the middle of the road? Nothing like that's ever happened before. Has it? Something doesn't add up. I can't remember what I was doing. It's like there's a big gap in my memory. What was I doing? Who was I looking for? Need to stay focused. I have to get going or I'll be late. I know this place all too well. It's the same route I take to school every day. There's a vendor along the way that always waves good morning to me. Always? The same route? I know this place? Yes, I know this place. I see it every day. Every day. Nothing changes. It's always the same. My perfectly normal, ordinary, everyday life. A gentle breeze brushes against my cheeks. My hair flutters as my gaze slides upwards. I'm looking at a tall, handsome man with long hair and a somewhat despondent demeanour. I think I know this man. As soon as I see him, I feel like someone stuck their hand in my chest and is squeezing my heart. It's hard to breathe, and the overwhelming sense of familiarity has me on the verge of tears. Elation jolts through all of my extremities. Oh, I know. This is the person I've been searching for. Excuse me. Excuse me. I have to get him to turn back. I have to look him in the eyes. I have to talk to him. We have to be reunited. I don't know his name and he probably doesn't know mine, but still. This is fate, so.
Back to the mansion.
What? Something I have to tell you.
I made that mistake. It's the worst possible mistake. I have to make things right. I have to make her smile for me. If I can't do that, then what am I even alive for? What did I even return from the everlasting darkness for? Absolutely nothing.
What are you talking about? Can you hear me? Why are you looking me in the eyes?
It's not possible in this life.
Stop, Please listen to me. Why did you keep moving forward?
Then I'll place my weapon next to him.
Wait, frankly,
I beg your forgiveness. I made the worst possible decision. What form you may assume, I will not err again. I promise I shall come back for you. Giselle! Call an ambulance! Someone's been hit by a car! You guys ready to make the right choice?
Inspect.
Inspect.
There's more to be done.
I've seen assuming everything she'd said was the truth.
Which or not, my mind is made up. You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The picture's pretty it's not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch. That's right. It wasn't the white-haired girl who claimed to be the witch. That wasn't all.
Do you mean to reclaim your old self, no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that. A fabrication.
Questions had been answered. You still didn't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done. You had to find the truth. You needed to find someone, that much was certain. But that was the story the maid had told. Was it about the correct person? It was. About the woman whose name you couldn't say. The woman who'd so cheerfully called you master.
Great that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. This is just the beginning after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other now.
You must say her name. You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again. Constantly engulfed in darkness. Through the way every single time I must break out of this darkness. I'll give you a world that's not cruel to you. I must escape and take her hand. Because that's the reason I came here. Claim.
Am I supposed to be reading the red here?
Yeah, but I didn't realize till halfway through, so.
As who?
Which?
You can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Stay here in this world. You'll be right at home.
No!
I did the best I could for you. Nothing more.
This is not where I belong. No matter how much of a world of darkness may suit me,
You'll never be able to
I
do
must
it.
reclaim my true self.
This is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better.
I know there's another bad end coming up.
Remember what someone told you not long ago? That you could handle the stories because they weren't your own? That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others? If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out, you couldn't possibly have endured it. But you're a sharp one. I'm sure you intend to keep those secrets tucked away forever. Do you really think I'm going to let you do that, though? Whatever you try to hide, I'll make sure your beloved hears every last detail. Oh, how foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insist on getting your old self back. What do you have to gain from that? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy awaits you down this path. Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. There's no salvation for you anywhere. None at all. Anywhere. From anyone. Ever. She has long since lost all grip on reality. And you think there's anything you can do for her now? Despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself? Well, I suppose if you're going to be stubborn, as much as I don't want to, I have to place a curse on your soul.
Now story left untold. It's me.
What?
Fourth door was all a lie.
What do you mean?
It was not some sweet little tragedy. The story you told was pure fucking fantasy.
No, that was the truth. That was where it all began. Because of what happened then, you spent innumerable years lost until you showed up here, and... What?
You reach down, unmistakable. You pull yourself in. Your silhouette, which has been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and your body.
Who are you?
The veil in your mind dissipates. A crack forms in the shell encasing you. Then another. The invisible shackles chaining your spirit fall to the floor. Reality fades in atop the indistinct, foggy world around you. Bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair. Your voice. No. My voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail and my joints are weak. But despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am. I have finally reclaimed myself. You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl. You were waiting for me. exactly why I came here.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about. I've always waited for the white-haired.
There was never a white-haired girl. There was only... This time I must say her name. She is Giselle. There was only ever you.
Giselle? No. No, I am not Giselle. I am a servant of the house. And I am the witch, the cause.
You are not a witch. The witch is someone else. Why do you insist that you're the witch? What changed you so much? Shadowy figure in the master bedroom, that was her. A glimpse into her past. I'm sure this is Giselle, but why is she so different? What happened to the spark she used to have? Where did the light she once showed upon the world go? I have to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No, what I need to face is my past and her heart. She was not even present in the story she made up. Everything about it had been changed. I lived and the wounds she bore were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale magic.
That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story.
No. How can you not see this? Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy, but was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the three preceding doors, there had been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations, but there was hardly a trace of that behind the fourth door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you want to turn it into? Is that what you want our history to become?
Our history? Our... But that... But I don't... I don't remember anything at all.
You don't.
No, I don't want to. I don't need a past or a future. All I have left inside me is uncertainty. No, no. That is not my name. Please, stop trying to confuse me. I'm fine with things the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want. So please, just let me keep being the maid. Let me keep being a guide, not some foolish girl.
Is that what she honestly desires? Does she want to cast aside her past for good? If so, then.
Oh.
Are we going for the bad end, or are we going for the... We want to get all the endings?
You're getting all the endings, peoples.
Fire alarms, not no.
Fucking firearms. Steve says bad end.
Bad ending, okay. I force her to do something she doesn't want to do. If she doesn't want to reclaim herself on her own, then I'll never get to hear her say my name again. But if she wants to leave all that behind her, then it's not my place to interfere. I've done things that would warrant her wanting to rewrite her past, erasing me entirely. But I think more than anything, I'm afraid of hurting her, of breaking her any more than she already is. Mine is a more cowardly fear. I'm just afraid she'll no longer take my hand. Okay. What should have been behind this door was our life together. But for her, there's nothing but misery there anymore. And our time together, and in me, get everything. The tale within the fourth door was the whole truth. I can live with that. I would just ask you to allow me one thing. remain by your side.
Of course you may. I was the one who asked you to forget about everything and live in eternal darkness with me. What a silly question. Did you think I would ever say no?
You did, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Worry not, I will banish the memory. I'm sure you were simply disoriented at having learned who you are. There is nothing to fear. Only happiness awaits you. I'm getting excited now. What should we do first? Oh, I know. We should throw a party in commemoration of your decision to remain here with me. I shall prepare the most wonderful feast, my sweet girl. So you forget all about him, all right? You're not the brightest, are you, my dear? You knew this is what would happen if you took this road. You would have been happier going down it without reclaiming yourself at all. Oh, this is absolutely brilliant. A weight has been lifted off my shoulders. My centuries-long wish has finally been realised. The one thing I didn't expect was for you to recover yourself. But it all turned out the same in the end. You know what? Sure. I'll stay out of your way. And I'll pray for you both to be happy. Master? Master? Oh, thank goodness you've awoken. I was getting worried there for a moment. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some wonderful chamomile leaves if you would like.
Well, if this isn't familiar.
Or perhaps your tastes have changed since we last met. Tell me, Master. As you wish. Say, Master, can I hope for you to compliment my tea again? To say it's the best you've ever had? Master?
Oh, yes. I'm sure I will have something nice to say about it.
You were never one to withhold your praise, Master. Such a gentle-mannered, kind-hearted girl.
Have I ever praised her tea before? I do recall telling her that when I saw her gathering strange weeds from the garden for her herbal tea, that doing so at this house, given its reputation, only made her look like a real witch. And how did she react to that? I think she puffed her cheeks and frowned and then... Oh, I can't remember. She thinks I'm the white-haired girl, yet she calls me master, completely oblivious to how absurd that sounds. But she won't say my name. Eventually, I'll my name, who I am, everything that's happened to us. Washed away by the darkness, never to be found again. He's smiling. I know it's not real, but honestly, I don't care anymore. All that matters is that she's smiling.
Okay, I promise you guys that that ending is way sadder once you get through what really happens behind the door that she lied about. Because that it makes that ending so much more cruel.
I see.
Like, I'm trying not to bawl like a fucking baby because I can completely understand the part that makes it really, really hard. Like the part that makes it cruel is something I can relate to, and I completely get it. But you guys won't get to know until we finish the next door, which will not be today. Today, nearing the end of what we're doing today. Quick. No matter what she says, I know I'm right.
You clicked out of the thing.
I'm sorry. And if she doesn't claim her own self, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here, but I can't do that. If you're afraid of what you might find, we can remember together. I've gotten everything back yet myself. So let's open the real door. Together.
There are no other doors to open.
But there is. One that can only open by our hands because it exists between the two of us. Not a door with physical form, but the door to your heart.
The door to...
I grasp her unnaturally cold hand, a hand that long ago once had warmth. If she can't lead the way, then I have to. I must pick up the pieces of our erased history so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, I will not let go of this hand. No, I mustn't let go of it. Darkness falls over the world around us. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out of existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. This dark pit, this is her door, her history, her heart. Let's try this one more time. It's not a sweet story by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, hatred. We caused each other pain. That's the road that we traveled. And down that road, and that's where we're calling it today. So, there's another door.
Another door?
So many doors, so little time.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So be honest with me. Did you guys think there was gonna be another door?
Yeah.
How many doors do you think there are, Spirit?
Many.
Also, I bamboozled you. It wasn't just the maid because I said today was part 1 of door 4. That was the entirety of door 4. Door 4 is really short.
Oh, I see.
Door 4 is just really short compared to all the other doors. It's like a third of the length because like they tell you, door 4 doesn't have the emotional complexity and the moral dampening that the rest of it has.
Yeah.
There's not this gray area where you're trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. It's just very cut and dry. There's good guys and bad guys, and the good guys die and the bad guys win, and that's it. So
Oof.
So next week we're going to be investigating the 5th door, and the only hint you guys are getting for that, oh, Spirit,
What?
flickering out of existence on me.
What?
Like back and gone and back and gone.
It's not of my own free will.
But anyway, so next week we will not be doing an entire door in one week. Don't
Yes,
worry.
the only hint is that I will disappear.
Spirit will be gone. No being gone.
No being gone.
It's the maid's door. We kind of need the maid.
Mm.
But yeah, so the next door looks like it's gonna have like 3 parts roughly.
Okay.
Is gonna be a normal length door. Are there more doors after the 5th door? Is the 5th door the last door? Well, you guys are gonna have to find out. Because honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I've forgotten exactly how many doors there are. I know that there are a certain number that is more than 3.
More than 3.
More than 3, but less than 100. That's all I know.
That's quite the range.
Okay, fine. I'll give you a better range. More than 3, less than 69.
Okay.
Is that a good enough? Range?
That's a better range.
Can we all work with that?
We will be doing this in our 50s. We've got either Lady Chaos VTuber with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands or Eyes Above with Dead by Daylight. Do you guys have a preference? Less than 420, yes. Less than 666.
And I will be dropping our socials in the chat just for you guys to.
V says DVD.
DVD. DVD. DVD.
DVD.
So I'm gonna make what's probably gonna be a recurring request for Wednesdays, for the foreseeable future. Either Spirit or V, if one of you guys would follow the raid train and be like, "Hello, we are the Cryptic Spirits," because I need to sit down and stare at the wall for a couple of minutes and cry.
I see.
All right. Well, keep it creepy.
Keep it weird.
I love this game, but it fucking destroys me. And most importantly,
Stay
stay queer. Bye
bye
bye.
bye.
Bye.